but I think it's ridiculous that he's allowed to play in the tournament.
The 250K Super High Roller WSOP event has been nothing short of eventful. I'm going to start this video off by saying I am not accusing anyone of anything here. I've seen the legal headaches that come from Mike Passo's allegations. I will simply be providing what happened along with some of my personal thoughts. Let me set the stage for you. It's event 40 at the WSOP, the $250,000 Super High Roller event. It's a star-studded field of 69 entries.
Nice.
Amounting to a prize pool just north of $17 million. In the field were some of poker's finest, with Justin Bonomo, Kerry Katz, Isaac Caxton, Phil Humuth, Phil Ivey, Alex and Kristen Foxen, Dan Smith, Stephen Chidwick, Andrew Roble, Nick Schulman, and a man who's caused quite a stir, Martin Kabrhel. Martin has played in many high roller tournaments for the last 5 to 10 years, but as Dan Smith said, he's had some questionable actions in the past. Last year in the video where Kid Poker ranked poker players based on the experience he's had with them at the table, Martin was present in DNEG's I'm Leaving the Poker tier.
Nobody worse to have at your table than Martin Kabrhel.
But that's all the past. What happened last night? The community seems to think that Martin was marking cards and staring at them to get a read on opponents. Let's take a look at what happened and I'll let you guys decide. Often, Martin is seen checking and rechecking his cards even when the hand is over. On top of that, constantly asking for chip counts and taking the full amount of allotted time to make his decision. Players continued to take notice and they were not happy. In this hand, Martin has King 3 of spades and is facing a 3-bet out of position. He checks his cards, he stands up, which is illegal, and what he claims is he is looking at his opponent's stack. But it's pretty clear on the video that Martin is staring at the cards. And what does he end up doing? Calls with King 3 of spades in a $250,000 tournament. In this hand, Dan Smith is irked by what he saw and decides to speak up.
I don't know. If somebody was getting that close to my cards, I'll put my chips on top of that.
On the flop, the opponent goes all in, and for the first time that I saw, Martin asked the dealer for a chip count, rather than taking a long, strenuous look on his own. Before the dealer can really even begin counting, Martin folds. A bit later, Dan decides that he's been quiet for way too long, and asks the floor to color up Martin's stack. I'll let you watch this one for yourselves.
Floor, can we color up some chips?
Yes, there is actually a schedule.
Before then, I can't see a bunch of them because of the 5Ks. Yeah. Thank you. I can't see most of your chips.
Yeah, but I have more than you, yeah? I have to know. So it doesn't matter, right?
I think if it doesn't matter, why do you ask kind of everyone every hand? I don't know.
It's quite obvious something weird is going on at this final table. Next up is another hand worth noting. A raise from Martirosian. Martin calls with King Queen. Martin checks on an 8-8-5 flop. Martirosian bets. Martin takes quite a few looks at Martirosian's stack and chips, and after a while he decides to raise. Martirosian 3-bets. Martin, after taking another long look at Martirosian's chips and cards, decides to 4-bet with King Queen off. Obviously at this point Martirosian makes a swift fold. Was this Martin picking a great spot to bluff a third of his stack, or did he know Martirosian did not have an 8? Let's move to the next one. In this hand, I'm not sure it could be more clear that Martin is staring at the cards rather than the chips. Later on in the tournament, Martin requests for a new deck, maybe an attempt to show innocence, but not long after the new deck is brought in, it seemed clear as day that he does this. On a separate occasion, Martin verbally raises pre-flop the minimum at the time, which was $240,000, but instead of putting out $240,000, he puts out $300K, which prompts Al to also put out $300K. At this point, Hecklin seemingly had enough and called out Martin for the answer.
You just put out
Kabrhel with the mid-raise.
Like, I don't understand.
Aldo Carolus makes the call.
I thought he made it.
Exactly.
Did he make it
That's
240?
Just put out 240.
That's
why he said that, Al.
Martin Kabrhel announced
he has
raise
right.
minimum,
Just put out 240. I don't get it.
and he threw in $300K.
So even if it was true, how could Martin be marking cards in the most prestigious event in poker? I have to give credit to Malia Miranda, who saw this pattern and posted it to Twitter. When Martin has non-premium hands or cards, it seems he wipes his hand, or specifically his index finger, off as if something is on it. But let's take a look when he has some premium hands. Again, I'm gonna let you guys come to your own conclusion and just present to you what I've seen. Dan Smith was obviously the most expressive with his discontent towards Martin, and as it turns out, poetically, Martin is the one who busts Dan out of the tournament. Before leaving the table, Dan had some choice words for Martin.
It's a king.
GG Dan.
Good luck, most of you. I hope you get barred.
I will be what?
Hope you get barred.
What does it mean? Why?
Your antics are the worst anyone I've ever seen.
And then continued expressing discontent in his post-tournament interview.
Martin's antics at the table are worse than anyone I've played with. People were speculating, like there were a lot of discussions about whether he was marking cards, whether or not that's true. Playing with him is unbelievably unpleasant. He's rude. He takes the full 30 seconds every time, and last night playing with him, it felt like something not kosher was going on. Can't know for sure, but I think it's ridiculous that he's allowed to play in the tournament.
Now for Martin's bust-out hand. The guy just open shoves 14 bigs with the Queen Deuce of clubs. Unfortunately for him, he ran into Ace King. I've continued to think about this, and I can't fathom why a poker pro would do this in a $250,000 tournament. Was there a lot of suspicious things that happened at this table? Yes. Is Martin a cheater who marks cards? I don't know. There's still a lot of questions out there. If Martin is marking cards like it seems in the clips, how is he able to differentiate them without any of the other players who are on alert noticing? Now, would I sit at a poker table with Martin? Not a chance. Let me know what you think in the comments.